Hello and welcome to episode 24 of Let's Talk Tactics. I'm your host, Zach Burrell.
Hey, I'm Dana Boone.
And I'm Luck.
Not a whole lot of PvP specific news this week, but things that apply to PvP at least. I think we'll start off talking about the raids, and I think the defense bracer is sort of a contested topic at the moment. I feel like there's a lot of people that are either love it and like they're like, oh my god, I can't wait to build this and I have all these ideas for it, or there's people in the camp of kind of it seems useless because it's only for 3 turns, whatever. I mean, not to mention it has the disable at all times, but or disable resist, but the missile resist part that requires the plus fiving. What are you guys' thoughts on it? And the raid in general, actually. So just sort of the team comps, the Halloween Little Leela not being a bonus unit because we're just they're pretending as if they didn't give that to us early, etc.
Luck, you want to go first?
Sure. So I think the defense bracer is a good item. And I mean, like among the three of us, and maybe even our viewers, like this is like a PvP cast where we're focusing on live matches. But I think especially for like auto battles, I think that item will be like really good because like nobody's camping in auto battles. Like in 3 turns, most of the matches is already over. So and like for example, this current arena, like you're going to go against gunners. Within the top, like say 1,000, you'll probably find some gunner comps. I mean, you can choose to avoid it if you want, but they'll be there. And also like this GVG, like there are going to be a lot of gunners just on the map and also the map effects that you get. So like I really think this item is very good for auto matches. Which I assume would be like the most players. I think most players would prefer auto matches compared to live matches. But even for live matches, I still think it's a pretty good idea depending on the comp. And I don't only think it's good for defensive comps. I think it can also be used for offensive comps, like for example the double quicken comps. So if you think about say Vinny with the double quicken Gashella, like he won the last CM with that comp, and he was saying that one of his biggest weaknesses that is not present in last CM but would be in most CMs is going up against like missile users, specifically like Frederica and Nivlu, right? Because they can easily take Gleshella out before she gets to do anything. And Gleshella needs to hit at least, say, 2-3 times to kill them. So, like if you have a double quickener like that, typically you have your weapon on slot 1, and then you have whatever TMR item you want, and usually the TMR is spells, but it could be other things as well. But you have another slot that you can use for like armor or something you want to have a defense so you can take 1 hit. This item gives you 15 defense already. It gives you a little bit less HP. Is it
16,
15 or
right?
16?
16.
Oh, okay, 16.
Yeah.
So 16 defense. So that's pretty much comparable to like a plat armor, which like platinum robe. I think platinum robes gives.
It's the same as Elven Cloak.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Elven Cloak
So
is 16, Platinum Robe is 18. Yeah.
yeah. So it all gives around the same like defense. So you're not like okay, the missile resist goes away after 3 turns, but you still have that defense all the time. You have a little bit less HP, but specifically for double quicken comp again, like you have a little time before you can do your combo because you need to wait for those 2 quicken charges to go off. If your Glaciala is dead by then, like you lose basically, right?
It's
Or
also on
if
the
you're
same note, real quick, like
Mhm.
yeah, wears off after 3 turns, and oh my god, if you quicken, you lose the buff. Like, yeah, but that I'm being quickened, therefore I don't need the buff anymore because the match should be over. So
Exactly.
I think that's the part that you have to go that next step past just saying like, oh, it's going away, it's not good. It's like, well,
But if you win by then,
yeah,
you
yeah,
don't need it, right?
right.
So
It's
uh,
mitigation for the early. Now it is tough with Glaciella specifically, just because she has the lightning disadvantage against the most popular fast missile units. She's already negative, like what is it, 25 or 35 to missile. It's like really high. So
it's my negative 15.
it's only 15.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 25 or 30. Really? Oh,
No,
okay.
it's only 15.
Always feels like it is.
Might be thinking of
Yeah.
Christmas Mastery.
Oh, she has negative missile like that.
Yeah,
Oh
it's like
wow.
30, I think.
Jeez. Oh man. So Victor, the Winter Victor, just shreds her. Oh wow. Reflex. No. All right. Sorry, Locke.
No, it's yeah, and that's a good point. Like even with like Garval right now that I'm using, and if I use like double quicken on him, he uses up his 5 turns faster. But then by then I'm like you usually win the game, so it doesn't matter, right? So same thing with that missile taking up 3 turns. Like I only need to survive an initial hit Like that's all I would need him to do if I'm running him that way in a double quicken comp, right?
from like a
So
quicker team.
yeah, like I just need him to survive until I get off that double quicken combo. If I can have the 3 turns with him, then I'm good. So I see this item as pretty good. Uh, I already built one. I already have a +5. And I'm probably gonna buy like the rest of the recipes because I would probably want to make another +5 at some point when the recipes come back. Um, but like as an item, I think it's pretty good. If what do you guys think?
I think one thought just after listening to you finish up here, like yeah, the HP is lower, but if you look at it as just like what if someone asks you, would you like an accessory that gives you 16 defense, a little bit evade, and 25% disable resist? The evade, I'm just at the extra fluff, but if you just get 16 defense and 25% disable resist, does that interest you? And like to me, I'm like, yeah, it's interesting. It's a nice tool to have. I'd like it. And then you say, all right, 280 HP. You're like, okay, well, it's not amazing because typically you're not gonna have an armor and an accessory non-TMR because you want a normal build weapon on most units, like a +5. But like then you just add in this as like, oh, here's a bonus for the first 3 turns. It's like cool. Like the rest of it's still reasonable and disables a prominent status effect that can just end game. So like being able to prevent that while also having respectable defense, there's a lot of value in it, I think. And the fact, it's equipable by everybody is also nice.
Yeah, you pretty much covered what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay. I like boiling things down sometimes. It's like it helps you evaluate. Like, well, would you like this? It's like good. It's like okay. Well, it just has a little extra, or it's better than that. So it's like, it's. I think a lot of people think of they're losing something, and that feels bad, versus thinking about what they do have after that thing's gone, and if like you never even had it in the first place. Like think about that first.
I think the only thing the only thing left that I want to cover is what do you guys think about the aim version of this? Do you think it's worth it?
So my only thought would be, in what situation would I ever use this for accuracy where I wouldn't be using like even just a +0 Alexandrite ring on with the 20 accuracy? Because it's 20, right? It's 20, then the passive goes up
Yep.
to 20. So like yeah, the disable is a nice tool, so maybe it's an alternate, but I think there's enough accuracy like on other sources, whether it's like you have bells on, it's 14, and then stacking accuracy I don't think is super efficient.
50%.
Is it 50%? Okay, so you'd get another like, so if you had this plus bells, it'd be 15 plus 7, so it's a decent amount, but I don't know if it's compelling enough to do that. Especially because okay, now I have my accuracy thing here, which already feels bad enough when I use it with an Alexandrite ring. To then like, all right, am I on an armor TMR, or am I just foregoing my defenses for this particular character? So I don't know. I'm a little iffy on that. I was trying to think of that while Locke was talking. Actually, I was sitting there like, do I want to mention this 15 accuracy? I'm like, is that good enough? So kind of glad you
Yeah,
asked. But
I think
what
it's
are your thoughts?
I think it's a trap. Like it's not a high enough accuracy to really invest in that type. Mostly because, well, yeah, there's the aim ring, but like what if people don't have access to aim ring, like if they're newer to the game or whatever. But it's like that level of accuracy is available on other things, like TMRs or
Wolf Mask,
other weapons. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
which you
Wolf
can farm
Mask,
right now with the key.
especially because of the challenge key. Like you can like be able to build that. Yeah, it's a piece of armor instead of an accessory, but yeah, I think it's a trap, and I think that I just wanted to get people to think about it and maybe help them not pick aim over shield, for instance. I mean,
Dude.
even Vital, like we just had the Elf Cloak that has a
Please
better
nobody build a Vital
Vital
Defense
HP. Yeah,
Bracer.
so
Please don't.
hopefully go for the shields, you guys.
Like the extra 121 HP is probably significantly less than the amount of damage you prevent with the 16 defense. So just please don't. But like, any thoughts about the accuracy part?
Yeah, I don't think it's a good item. Like I would never recommend anybody to build it because I just don't see a use for it. There's
So
just too many other aim items.
like, so here you go. Like obviously the disable resist is a thing, but if we're comparing it to the Alexandrite ring, we have to look at the plus zeros, right? Because as soon as you start going plussing up the Alexandrite ring, and you're looking for a piece of accuracy, like that's just better. This is only a 5 deficit, so maybe there's a comparison here. The disable's pretty good. But guess what you can get from the same raid in Alexandrite ring. So that's actually I kind of really want to finish my +5 Alexandrite ring finally, because I only have a +3. It's still a fair amount of accuracy, but I would love to have that finished tool in my toolbox to just be like, chuck this on here, solve this problem I've had before.
I have a +4 aim and a +2 crit.
Which is, I guess, like all the times where I've used it and I'm on like a 83% to hit and I miss, it would have probably just been 100% if I had a max one. Which, so it's I want that tool. So, but then I only have limited time right now. I'm doing a lot of stuff in real life in these past few weeks. So it's like I haven't had time to sit down and really grind the raid yet. And the last one I was able to auto, and it went well the past 2 days. Like the last 2 days, I got like 200k medals. It was great. But I have to be able to do a setup like that again. And I'm not going to be able to for this raid. Because I don't have Howlet built. I don't have Garvel. I don't have Elsorel. I don't have Sakura. So, like, there's so many units I'm missing for, like, the efficient auto setups that I just don't know how much of it I'm going to be able to do. So now I'm in the mindset of, like, well, how am I going to build the defense bracer and also finish the Alexandrite ring I want? I can forgo the elf cloak. Although it is cool that people can make multiple +5s now if they farm all the recipes. So yeah, I'm kind of in this weird place where like I don't really know what to do yet. I'm just gonna stockpile metals and maybe have an epiphany down the line.
Yeah. I think I'd have been more happy if they went with a barrier instead of an aim. I think that would have been more relevant, especially with Garvel coming out with his magic missile attacks.
Listen, man, you can't be having defense bracer give spirit. I actually give 6 though on the defense version, or on the shield version, which is weird.
It's weird, right? Like it's
4-3, 4-3, and then they both go up for the shield, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's almost like it used to be there, and then it got like switched like last second or something,
Yeah, like normally you would expect like the 6 spirit to be on the vital and aim versions, then like you go to shield and it like goes down to 3 or something. I guess maybe that's more of a trend with barriers, but interesting. All right, any other thoughts about the raid rewards or anything? Are you guys on the also it's cool that we're getting like MR and SR medals and stuff in there, or rocks in there as well, right? I think I saw the redemption, yeah. Obviously I don't have enough to get them all, but yeah. Get those units. Yeah, I actually just awakened my Surges because I had or Surges, whatever his name is. Because I had some SR rocks finally. And then as my last ice unit, I finished Lastwell. Like I finished Awakening all the way because I've had a shards for a while. So now I have every ice unit maxed, like able to go to 99. So I'm ready for this level update or whatever where you get the mastery bonuses. Gonna get that Oron, get it maxed up.
Whenever I see Surges, I always think of Serge Tankin, who's like the singer from System of a Down.
That's his name? I don't think I've ever heard his name before.
So Surges.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, if there's no more thoughts about the raid, we could kind of move on the same trend of talking about the shops.
Well, we didn't really talk about the bonus units though.
Oh, sure, okay.
Yeah. Like I was really excited because I already had a Halloween Leela, and I mean you had her too, so like it would really help with the raid, especially with the type bonus and everything. So then last minute having to find out that she's not a bonus unit really sucked. But
because everybody's using her anyways, so like
exactly
having to fit like Garvel or Elsorel and in your team to get that large bonus. Because let's face it, nobody's using Raldor against Golem. They're using him against.
I'm as I level it, but once I'm at like 100 or whatever, I think my guildie had his level 1 Raldor up to 88.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wow, just like 3. Well, we saw. I think it was Cecil, from like Twitch, who's in etc. We saw him like duo. I think with Halloween Little Leela and Howlet. Like he just duoed the Golem raid like level 99 with just those 2 units. So I guess I can see how having the level 1 like low agi like never take a turn like Raldor.
Did I ever tell you guys what what Brian did for the Siren raid?
Yes, it's awesome.
Maybe.
Yeah, you saw that. Did I tell that on the podcast? Yeah, where he
No, but I saw it on Reddit that somebody was using Zazan, level 1 Zazan to do it.
I
I
don't
don't know
think
if it
he
was
would have
him, but it was somebody.
he wouldn't
Somebody
have
did it.
posted on Reddit, but anyway, we were talking about it. He's like, well, how do I? He's like, I need these 3 units like to do their thing or whatever, and it works with these 3, but I need a fourth vision card.
Yeah.
So he hasn't touched his Zazen. He just doesn't care. I mean, he knows how cool he is, like with the 6 movement or whatever, but he just hasn't put anything into him. So he took his level 1 Zazan, put on a level 1 golden armor for the negative agility, put on a vision, or put on like no Esper, and like whatever negative he could find, and then put on, and he was holding like Black Rose Helena card or something to give agility to his team. And the Zaza never took a turn. He could auto with it. Auto clear. I was like, this is hilarious, because he was trying to figure out a setup because he didn't have I forget, he was missing something where he couldn't auto it, and that ended up solving his problem. And I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, my other guildie doing the level 1 Raldor kind of harkens back to that, which is funny.
The
Um,
nuances of rating.
yeah, right. I mean, I did it with 3 units on the last one. It just took a lot of it wasn't my setup. I'm not gonna pretend like I discovered it. I saw a video on YouTube where someone was like going through different iterations, and that was the iteration that I actually had everything to do it. So I was like, oh my god, and I set it up and it worked and it was amazing.
Perfect.
But
Yeah, so
I'm
this
worried
raid in
about this one though.
particular, this raid in particular has been kind of more of a toss up in terms of like an ideal lineup. Just I think just the positioning of the ads and the boss, like your like slot 1 unit, as long as they have the range, like they're gonna go for the ads instead of the boss, and it's really annoying, like spending the AP on auto to get rid of the elementals, instead of just focusing on the boss, you know. Um, and obviously it's not an issue if you manual every raid, but like I mean, who's really doing that nowadays?
Hmm.
Like when everybody can, well,
Unless you
anyone
have
with
to.
a developed roster, yeah. Um, so, but it's cool that it's cool to hear about people using having success with like different teams. Like we're seeing light teams with like holy and like light units. We're seeing like wind teams. We're seeing like a hybrid like Garvel plus whatever team that makes it work. Because he's just apparently that amazing that he can just fit into a
He's so
different
annoying.
element team. I know. Um, but yeah,
Somebody
I
found
think.
something.
What's up?
Sorry. Actually, finish your thought, and I'll
Well,
talk
I
about
was just gonna
Ayaka.
like I think this raid is kind of more annoying than I expected, just because of the positioning of the elementals, and how they attract, they make it harder to finish because you got to clear them on auto.
I was gonna say that somebody found something really interesting with Ayaka, because with the green mage sub job, she can cast D Shell if you make her speed below Golem speed. So Golem moves towards your units on turn 1, and on her first turn. So if she's below 80 agility, and she has Emerald Echo on as one of her passives for some reason, then she will cast D Shell.
That's
Otherwise, she'll cast
amazing.
Holy. That's weird, but that's how it works, and it's great because it increases your damage output.
I've
But
never
it's just
seen
a
her
very weird.
do
Yeah,
that.
I've never seen her use D Shell before ever, but apparently it works. So
That might be the route I had to go, honestly. Like going Ayaka, Little Leela, Ildira or something, and then
Kilfe.
sub yeah, Kilfe, and just force that the holy chain.
yeah,
Um right now I'm actually using Oldoa and Halloween Lolita. That's my 2 units, and I'm dueling it up there.
You might
I
not.
actually maxed my Tetra today.
Oh, nice. You might not even have to chain light attacks, using Kilfei for the magic resist down and
Hmm.
Ayaka for the spirit down. Because like I said, like I've used like Garvel, I've used Howlet, and I've used like light attacks, and like
Hmm.
it's the works because of like Kilfei with her LB and or Garvel with his LB, or both. So yeah, you don't. It's like it's weird. Like you don't really have to exclusively focus on building elemental stacks as long as you just get the damage in.
And that's high level
yeah.
100, I assume. You're already up there doing
Yeah,
that. Nice. Okay.
yeah. It's weird. I ended up at like I think I'm at like rank 700 ish right now, and I just really haven't had as much time to do it as I usually do. Just like casually, like building up 10 stacks, pressing my phone every now and then while I'm doing homework or something.
Yeah, I'm at rank about 400 something, and I'm actually like almost done my second +5 aim ring. So
Nice.
I've been like it's funny because like for me, I don't like to do those like MR uh like quests on repeat. But raids like especially if it's like an autoable raid, it's very easy for me to do. Like I'm just like press it and then I go and work, and then like 2 minutes later press it again. Right?
Imagine if you didn't.
Literally,
Imagine if you didn't have to press it every 2 minutes though. That's the MR
yeah.
farms.
I know that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
It's like it's
but
literally
it
harder
is.
than that.
But like, but I don't know.
The
It's
payoff
weird.
doesn't feel as worth it, or I don't
I
know.
think so. I think like well these are better, right? Like I mean your items are supposed to be better than the MR items, I guess. Um, and also like you get so many materials. So like the last raid, I wanted to make sure I had like 600 of the void crystals and like 4,000 of whatever the general item was, so that whenever the next raid comes around that uses it, I already have these items built out. So that's why I was able to like easily get my like almost have my +5s, my second +5 aim ring, because I already had like 600, 700 of those void meg crysts, and I had like 4,000 of those joyful heart things.
Oh,
So I
those
just needed
1,000
to buy the
joyful hearts today in the
recipes.
shop. Oh,
So I
such a
just needed to
godsend.
buy the 63 recipes, which was not like a bad time at all. So I think I think in general, I think people should figure out kind of what works for them in the game too, right? Like for me, since I'm able to like do this raid easily, I'm just like playing it as much as I can and save up on the materials for if I get a next raid that I'm not able to do it, I don't have the units for it. At least I'll be able to not have such a bad time because I already did a lot of the heavy lifting now. So
Now, are you what are you doing to pop the like stack up the 10 raids then? If you're just
I
the event, the
yeah
FFB thing.
Yeah, I usually do like 30 or 40 of that on auto, and like I leave it alone. I don't mean to like set it to 30, 40. It's usually when I come back 30 or 40 runs are done because I want that event medals anyway. I usually check like every 30 minutes to an hour to make sure I have like 10 stacks and then start doing that.
So why do you want those event medals?
So I think those event medals are fantastic because we have our unit shards in them. There are 8 different units, which gives you 40 shards each. And when like the duration of those shops is 3 weeks, and in 2 weeks we should be getting anniversary. So any of the shards that we buy after the anniversary should turn into the item that you need to take your unit past level 99. I don't know what it's called, but
Like the
The EX
memory,
stuffs or
something
mind,
memory
mind
mind
gems,
sphere
oh
mind
yeah,
sphere
mine's
mind
spheres.
sphere.
Yeah.
yeah, so that. So that's why I think it's great, because like they're giving you 40 of these shards. You need 400, so you get like 10% for free that you can just get from farming.
Mm-hmm.
uh so like I think people should have at least like 90k of these medals by the time the event is done, like in excess of whatever you want to spend on like
You have 2
gil
weeks, right?
shards. And yeah, you have 2 weeks to get it.
Okay.
Yeah, so when anniversary drops, this shop should be along for a week, but you won't be able to get any more shards then. Like you won't be able
Right.
to get any more medals then.
That's
So get
similar
it before
to
then.
the sorry.
No, that's it.
Similar to the winter metal shop. If people want to get a head start on some units, you can get those 3 stacks of 100 for paid viz. It's a little steep. Like it's only half off compared to like the 1k select 40, 1k select 80. Obviously, it's worse, but it's still half off shards. So if you are someone who's interested in that rate, you can get 300 of them, and the store will close, but the Mog shop redemption stays open for another week, which is again like we're talking about here during the now confirmed date for EX release. So I mean that could be 300 of whoever you want right there. Or you could get like, what is it, 150 Dwayne if you wanted to get a head start on him for whenever his EX comes. Not sure if that's the smart way to go, but either way you save the same amount of viz if you go for 300 of a normal unit or you go to 150 of a double cost unit. So also for Gilgamesh people, that might be a way to finish it if you didn't get all of the select 80s, which I'm sorry if you didn't, but it's actually it was cool. I had a couple people message me on Discord like saying, "Oh, thanks for reminding me about the tickets or whatever. I just like bought them right now," because they either didn't see them or didn't realize they were 80 or whatever else. So yeah, helping people. But What do you guys think of the rate though on that for the winter medals? It's 2.5k for 100 medals that exchange 1-to-1 for shards, and then translates to double cost as well, where it's 2-to-1.
It's okay, I guess. I mean, we
It's,
have better
yeah,
deals, so it's not great.
it's not the best deal, but I
Once,
mean, like
yeah,
I think we are a little bit spoiled, right? With the, I mean,
Right,
like
right.
I mean,
Like if
the
I asked
first
you this
six
4 months
months or
ago,
so,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
like 4 or 5 months ago, it would have been like, oh my god, half off for anybody?
25 is zero
Huh.
for each shard.
But now we're
Sign me
like,
up.
it's not 75 to 87 point,
Yeah.
or 87.5%. Like, not good enough.
I might think about it, but eventually do it.
Yeah, right.
and especially because now we get those 5 shards for 60 viz, like whenever, right? Like for units that are released.
Which
So I'm also thinking of
is,
that as well.
I mean, that only ends up being what, 70 shards, 80 shards. I think it's 80 total. 14 times 5.
14 days, yeah.
So
70 total.
20, yeah, 70. So like, yeah, it's a good rate, but you only get 70 of them. It's not like you're maxing a unit with the 5. Like, so I
Well,
got into it with somebody in the PvP server on this. I was like, dude, I'm like, I get it. These rates are far better, obviously, but there's a reason you can't max a character at that rate. You still have to get the other 400 shards or however many there are. So we have to start looking at what's the next best thing, and then is that worth it? And that's what these winter medals will be. They're like I guess at this point they're what, step 3. So the select tickets are the best, and then you get to the 5 for 60 paid, and then you get to the actually I guess 5 for 60 paid might be better, but those two first, and then okay, well the winter medals are not bad, but I don't know. I haven't bought them yet, so that tells me what I think of them. I feel like I'm kind of more in the gambling boat where I know that assuming we get the same stuff as JP, even though we already got them sort of. This time will be for the mind orbs though, where you get the 2k paid for like the 50 times shards of random people, the 100 shards for random people. It's like the actual shard to viz rate is very high for that, and I only have so much I'm willing to spend for the anniversary event, so I have to kind of pick my battles here. Like, I guess I'd rather be able to max the limited time Final Fantasy 10 units, assuming they appear for us, rather than expedite some of the older units, I think. So,
Are you talking about like the banners, like in the summon screen?
yeah, the ones that we'll get, where it's going to be
Yeah.
like 2k paid, and then you get like 1,000 or 500 shards, depending on. Yeah.
It's funny you mention that. Like I used to do that in the the past months or so, but now that it's closer, it's like within the same month as the first anniversary. I'm like, no, I'm gonna save my
Oh, for sure.
stash.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I
But
mean. I'm
yeah,
talking about
I
when
used to do
anniversary
that.
drops. That's kind of, I would rather get that. So I don't care that it's random shards. It's just more
Yeah,
shards for value than these 200, the whatever 100 for 2.5k.
yeah. So yeah, I would definitely like save as opposed to spending your paid on getting the random shards or whatever. I mean, unless you don't have, I don't know. I don't want to. I don't
Well,
want to
yeah,
encourage
okay.
people to
So
do that.
I'm a whale. I have a majority of my URs maxed at this point. There's still some that
Yeah,
are straggling, but that's fine.
like I have like
Uh,
eight to 10,000 like soul medals or whatever waiting.
oh my
wow.
god, that's
It's
way more than me.
terrible.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, I
And
might have
I
like
spent
2k.
I spent like I spent some of them like some months back, so I would have probably like a couple thousand more.
Good lord. Anyhow,
Insane.
well
But
done.
it's because of investing in these crazy banners where you get like 50 or 100 or
True, true.
whatever. Like I was like, I'm gonna think long term, and I have it now, so I'm gonna use it. But now that it's like the last month, I'm like, I'm not gonna do that anymore.
Right. And yeah, what I was gonna say is for people who aren't as whaley as us, who have most of the things maxed, or people who started, say, 3 months ago and they're a spender, like these are pretty decent for you if you're spending, you're trying to catch up. So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely different strokes for different folks. There's some things that are kind of like no brainers, like the 1k for 80 was like, all right, if you spend money, just buy these. Like just do it. Don't think about it. You'll be happy later. On that same vein, though, for speaking of select 80, the mind sphere, right? Mind orb,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
Mind Spear.
the things for EX jobs. The 3 step up on the Dwayne and Fryevia feature thing. All it is a rate up for both of those, right? And then at the end you get the ticket.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
Right. So you're basically, yes, okay, you might get stuff on the way, but if you already have Dwayne and Fravia maxed, those are going to Mog Medals, and that's a like 10 or 20% rate or return on, shard to the exchange rate for what you get with Mog Medals, so not the greatest. So you're basically doing 6 paid for a select 80 ticket. It's technically cheaper for Dwayne, because Dwayne would cost 8k normally, but I don't think it's worth it in either case. It's actually more expensive for Fravia. So please don't do it if you're getting it for Fravia. I understand people want this, like, the head start because they are limited time units.
I mean,
so,
it's probably, let's face it, it's probably too late at this point.
What do you mean?
People have probably already invested since like Wednesday or Thursday or whatever.
This is for all the people who are on the fence, like, please don't. Please don't. Oh, and if you do, well, you can't even use the ticket until the EX drops drop anyway. I was gonna say wait till the EX drops drop so you get both, but I forgot it's not shards. It's actually you just get the orbs. So, Locke, speaking of new things, you said you had a new perspective on an old topic. Would you like to share what that was? I have no context. Is this going to go positive or negative? I don't know which way it's going, because I feel like last time we talked about this, you were like down. We brought you up a little bit, so I don't know where you're going to go now. So, Typhon.
Yeah. So my initial impression was like she's good but not great, right? And then talking to you guys, I could see why she was like better than I thought. And because like
Typhon?
I'm like, she?
Typhon, she.
Is it because it's pink?
Yeah. Why did I say she? I have no idea. It. I just said it.
Regardless, doesn't matter.
The card. Is that neutral enough?
The card. The Esper.
Okay, so no, but I was specifically talking about the vision card. Like, I thought the Esper was great, but
okay.
I thought the vision card was not that good. And then talking to you guys, because the reason I thought it was not that good was because I was thinking of the dodge bonus, and I'm like, well, on a dodge team, I wouldn't really use this. But you guys mentioned that, like, you help me see it in a different light, and like now I'm building teams where I'm not using any sort of guaranteed hit unit. Like, usually I would have either like Lashella or Federica or something. So if I'm building a team without any guaranteed hit units, I can see why I would want this card. I mean, because I have like Aegon or I have Blaze of Grass, but there are teams that I'm sometimes making where I just have magic users. Until this point, I've never really made a team with only magic users. But now with Garvel's item, like Garvel's TMR, I could like, if I meet somebody who has like 100% magic resist, it would only be 50 at most because of this item. So building a magic team, like an all full-on magic team, could be viable. So then I'm like, okay, so I want to have like I want to give accuracy to my team, and this is the best card for it. Like, there's just no other card that I could like. Well, there is the other little Leela card, the
but
I think
it's
SR
bestowed
card.
though. It's bestowed.
Yeah, exactly. It's just bestowed, and like maybe you might even want to like use both to have one person do like a lot of accuracy, like have a really high accuracy. So like I just wanted to say, like, it's a really good card. So like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? Like, I didn't think it was that great, so yeah, no, I think it's a really good card. Share that.
What teams are you building that you don't have any sure hit on your magic users though? I guess I'll preface this with, I'm not saying having sure hit you win evade. Like, obviously not. If you get CC'd or you die first or something, like, yeah, okay, it's not the end all be all. But obviously, like, in my brain, I'm thinking, well, you'd have like Kilfei with Holy, or Sakura with her sure hit. Garvel has a million sure hit sources too. It feels like a million. So yeah, what teams are you building?
So I mean, most of the teams that I'm building right now are just like random teams for testing purposes in match battle. So I would have something like Sakura plus Little Leela plus Elsorel. But like, she would typically have like a Blades of Grass or something if I'm building this. But I really wanted her, like, I really wanted the two what is it called, the like single target and area effect resist. So she would be the only person that could hold Odin, because like you want a physical DPS to hold it. And I wanted one of the other magic users, typically Leela, I guess, to hold the area resist card. So I'm like, okay, Sakura. I mean, I guess she could hold Blades of Grass, but I don't really want her to. So then I'm like, okay, well, if I had Typhon, okay, I would give that to her. So that's why I'm like, okay. So
Well,
I
you
guess
give it to
for a
Leela,
Magic
right?
team, yeah, yeah, I guess I would give
Yeah.
it to Leela, and I would give the area resist to Sakura. Yeah,
Feel
but
worse about it, but you know, you have to work with
yeah,
restrictions.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm like. Yeah, you know what? I guess for a Magic only team, or like if I only have one slot available in my team, and that's a Magic user, Typhon is what I would want to give that person. So
So speaking of vision cards, this new one that we all got for free, and we get to max for free. Well, cost of armor and a leg and gill, but and rainbow orbs, but getting all the shards for free. How do you guys like this thing? I mean, I'm glad to have another source of JP bestowed, just so I can put it on my skip teams, so just to get that incremental bonus over time. It's got middling stats, like 260 HP, 62 attack, 62 magic, but it's got 30 dex and 15 luck, which is pretty cool. But the party ability, all elements plus 15. I'm glad it wasn't more. I'm glad it wasn't like 20, 25, 30. Like that would have just been absurd. So I think 15 is fair, but it's enough to make me consider not necessarily using it, especially because you don't really have a bestowed effect. But we've used other cards before, at least I have, like say the Scion card on a magic user that has no slash
yeah,
because I want the
right.
party ability,
Yeah.
and the lower magic value is okay and the lower HP is okay because I have the ability is so good that it's worth it. So yeah, what do you guys think of this card?
I think this card, like right away, is good for raids because
Oh,
there
of
are some
course.
raids where I just don't know what the fourth card will be. Like I've seen people using like Aquatic in the Siren raid, and I'm like, that doesn't do anything. And then somebody asked me a question. Okay, well, what would I put instead? Like, there's already somebody using Frederica's Dream. There's already somebody using like Agility Up and like an Ilfred. So what else can I put?
Kalum.
I'm like,
Kalum.
Kalum,
Gives you
right?
dexterity for
Dexterity
damage.
Up.
Yeah, it gives you
Yeah.
damage. Yeah.
Yeah, the two-headed dragon, but like most people, like in that raid specifically, a lot of the gunners weren't hitting for 9999.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I guess you could put the two-headed dragon, but it also wouldn't really have much of an effect.
Right.
So now we can put this card that would do something, right?
Hmm.
So and a lot of like especially the newer players might not have things maxed out, so at least they can get this maxed out and actually like contribute something to a raid. Yeah.
So I think the card is kind of like a nice glue that will hold some teams together too. Where if you're chaining missile, but you don't have like Nivlu and Frederica to do it, you can give a bonus across all of your elements. Your Winter Victoras, your Venera subgunner, your Elsrel subgunner, your Lucias, and like all the different elements. It doesn't matter. It's now your missile chains are going to be stronger. Well, your attacks are going to be stronger, which makes your chains nice, and you don't have to worry as much about the elemental. Obviously, double chaining's better, but I like the fact that this can kind of bridge the gap between multiple elements of the same attack type in a way that we couldn't necessarily before. And this is after you choose your missile card or whatever other card. But
Mhm.
Daniel, what are you thinking?
I'm just annoyed that like I was predicting it was going to be 20 like
I thought
elemental up,
20 as well. Yeah.
but like because I was just like, well, it'll be consistent with that Mars, but like I should have realized that maybe it would be a little bit lower because of being free and provided like all of the necessary upgrade stuff.
But also, I think buffing 8 things, which is like eight, all those elements is a big effect. And
Sort of, but
it's
like
almost like
when
having 8
are
different effects.
like you're not gonna see 5 different elements on a team unless it's just like I'm building resonance or affinity or whatever for these. But like generally, maybe you'll see like a couple different elements, or it kind of depends on the units. Especially going more towards like mono element stuff in the future, and like these elemental like upgrades to vision cards and stuff. Like I don't think it'll be really that um, big of an upgrade. But I
It
mean,
probably would have been fine at 20.
yeah, but
Mhm.
stacking just the fact that it stacks with other elemental bonuses, like what?
Yeah,
That was a
so
surprise to anyone who doesn't know yet.
I'm I'm glad it's coded like that because it's kind of logical. The actual buff symbol is that same symbol that you would use for like Imperil, where it's like that rainbowish orb, and for Imperil it'd be down, but this is like the opposite. So it's everybody gets it's all elemental attack is the effect. You don't get individual, fire attack up, water attack up, wind attack up, etc. So yeah, it does stack with if you use Siren for water units, if you use the Final Fantasy 14 Signs of Shadow card for light. It stacks with all of those. Explicitly tested. I'm not just like talking on my ass. So I think that is really cool. And then yeah, I mean it goes back to helping these raid teams. Because if you ever had to do light damage again, it'd be like what, light, attack type, probably magic or something. Then the damage type, which would be magic or whatever, and then this. So definitely
like,
great.
while we're on the subject, like the Imperil does stack with individual Imperils. So like I mean, it's not really super relevant, like, because who's using a Helena or Chell, but like the all element
For the
down
imperils is what you're
stacks.
saying.
Yeah, exactly.
People
Yeah,
use the units for sure.
in
Who
the
uses
future,
shell?
I mean, for this, I meant for this raid in particular.
Oh
But
yeah,
like,
fair.
moving forward, it's important to note, like in your PvP like toolkit, the fact that like yes, Imperil will stack with like an individual element Imperil. That's pretty cool. That's something that I did not
So
know yet.
for this raid, if you wanted an imperil, you can bring Mariluke.
It's true.
She's a bonus unit at the lowest bonus. I didn't realize. I'm like, why is she a bonus? But I forgot. I think it's Tom Berry's weak to strike
Okay.
damage, right?
Oh yeah, Tomberry.
Yeah. So, technically, you could get a bonus unit in there who casts Imperil, and then probably doesn't do anything after that because it's a lightning and an earth raid. But it'll help the other people. I guess if you have what level would you have to be to get the job? I wonder if you could have like a level 3 Mariluke with like a maxed Imperil somehow. Like,
Yeah, I think when I can't remember, but like I was just looking at this like a few days ago, but just like so much has happened since then. But I think Imperil is generally like
it's
a
the big
high
one.
job level, like level 6 or something.
Okay.
Or sorry, awakening level.
Well, yeah,
can't
I mean, but
remember.
you could have the max and still be level 1. Like
Yeah.
fully
So like
working job.
unless it's like a main job, like one of the two starting ones. I don't remember seeing anyone who started with Imperil, and I was like kind of disappointed.
Oh
Like
no
that's
no.
obviously like a go-to.
I
Like
think that. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna like the one time they get to have their turn, like you cast Imperil and then they're done. They check out, like let's go home, boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna look real quick out of curiosity.
But I mean, like, so while you're looking, like it's kind of cool, I think, because like I've always been kind of like I've had this perspective that like green mages definitely have been like underrated, not just for their like Imperil or their whatever, like the like deshell,
Vitalize?
deprotects,
Oh, Disha, yeah.
vitalize, but also and like the elemental buffs as well. I think it's kind of like monks, and because I feel like monks have definitely not been given the chance to shine. I feel like green mages are kind of the same way, and I think Shell has like been like the first like green mage who I think has been really able to put in work and be put on the map as like as a green mage. Like
Besides, I guess I was
Ayaka's
just saying
green mage job has
Vendina.
just got in the way, like yeah, Minion is like yeah, it's been kind of niche.
It was
And
essential for like the first raid, and like after that, I
yeah,
used it in PvP to like
yeah.
dispel some stuff. But actually, it's funny. Monk, underrepresented. Green Mage, underrepresented. Knight, almost non-existent. Mariluke, just like, all together.
She's like the last to be picked on every dodge team or dodgeball team.
Oh man, that's so sad. We're doing you dirty. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mariluke. She's fun though. She's fun with double quicken with her crit, the 40% crit damage. But now I was looking. Yeah, it's the like quote unquote the big spell for green mage. I think it's level 2 you can get your job levels up. There's like a threshold for how high you can put your levels and things compared to your actual unit's level. I wonder what the lowest possible you could put her at.
Like
with
LB
Imperil.
or Awakening
Yes.
or actual level.
Actual level. So like you have to be level 2 before you can start leveling, I think, jobs or
Yeah,
something. There's some weird combination with that. So I wonder what.
There. Yeah.
Yeah, because they could take a level. Next time you get a level 1 unit, try to put all their jobs up, and it won't let you. It'll say like level locked. You go to level 2, and then it lets you do it. So I
God,
wonder what the. Oh, sorry.
I haven't paid attention to that since like the first month.
Well, there were some units I got them. And I was like, I'm gonna put the jobs up. I'm like, why can't I? Oh, and I had to go do the cubes first or whatever. But anyway, I wonder what the lowest level you could possibly have Mariluk at, where she gets in peril, and you could use the JP quest to get like thousands of JP without actually putting her through a lot of missions. So I wonder if you could like get this super weird niche side unit for things like this, or just for this one if people have Mariluk, and then you could do that. But I don't think it's viable. It's just these are the things I think about.
I wish we had a way to like lower levels.
Yeah, lower levels, lower skill levels, very useful.
It'd be cool if you could scale your unit to like as if they were MLB or LB3 instead of like maxed. So it would take all their stats down as if you had like 12 till 12 in your jobs. It would take their base stats down, and then we could do like tournaments with like level 79 units or whatever for the people who don't have everything maxed out.
Exactly. Yeah.
But they can't even put the match battle maps on live, so I mean, I'm not going to start asking for to give us D level caps. So you know.
The really sucky thing
Standard.
about this raid, in my opinion, was that they changed like the lower level bonus units. Like because I think Helena was to be a bonus unit, and people were building Helena for this raid, and then they found out, oh, she's not a bonus unit, and that's like stupid because like it's not gonna if you have Helena as your bonus unit, you're not gonna get more people spending money. Like Helena's been there for a long time, right? So I thought that was like a really shitty move from them for changing that. Like okay, fine, like removing Halloween Leela because she's like your big unit that you wanted to sell at the time, and replacing her with like Garvel. Okay, fine, I can understand that. But changing the lower units, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're trying to keep it somewhat consistent with JP, where it's like, oh, they didn't have Halloween Leela for this, did they? Or was it released with Halloween Leela?
It was released with Halloween Leela.
Oh, okay. That's
Halloween Leela was the bonus unit for them.
That's okay. The fact we don't have it, that sucks then. Okay. I was thinking that like it must have been before they had her, so they just like carried over the game files and just like you can have the same bonus units. But then you're also saying they changed the lower ones, which
really sucks. Because then Helena was listed as a lower unit, and I know people that were building Helena because they're like, okay, I don't have like Halloween Leela, I don't have Howlett, so I'm gonna build Helena, and I can hopefully like contribute. And then she wasn't a bonus unit, so like, what the heck, right?
Damn.
I think that sucks, but that's the game, I guess.
Dang. Also, going along the lines of shitty jobs, man, they really did Monk dirty because it has one offensive ability unless you go sub Monk, at least on Mariluk, which I think they're mostly the same across all of them, but you get exactly pummel. And then you have to go into sub Monk to get Terra Slash and Surge Strike, which is your ranged ability and your like big ability. Oh.
I think Ziza has Surge Strike as well as Pummel, but yeah, he's nothing else.
Does it shuffle who has what on the subs?
Yeah.
That was like the general core that's the same, but no, she's the same. She's Pummel, Store, Chakra Revive, Purification Countdown, then you have to sub in to get Terra and Surge.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I've been wrong this whole time.
Come on, seize the main? No, I was kidding. I mean, what's another? I'll just confirm. Like, who's another main job? Oh, Etra. Yep, same. Damn, doing them dirty. Come on. That's how we're gonna sell Raldor in 9 months. We're gonna make all the other monks, all the fans they really want.
They're not even buffing monks. They're making new monk jobs.
Right. It's just brand new.
Pugilist and now Energist. Like, just give monks some love. Give us a strike like URVC. Like, come on, man.
The next best strike unit coming out? Scholar. Dealing the magic strike damage.
I feel like somebody did the CEO dirty, and like they really just like stomped on their heart, and whoever did it was like a monk main or something. And so they're just like, I'm never gonna give monks love because of her.
Jesus. Why don't take black belts? Don't date black belts. So. Anyway, one other thing I forgot about was the item from the Marlboro FFB thing, the Emblem of Devouring. So this is the first time looking at the stats for it. Looks like it has a vital version, which is meh. Aim version, which again has the same problem, low overall stats with 14 accuracy. And then shield has 15 defense, which is decent. Passive wise, it gives 10 flat accuracy, cool. so you get 13 overall. Then it gives 15% blind and paralyzed resist. So is paralyzed the one you can't normally resist, or is that stun? Stun you
It's
can't normally
stun.
resist, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So this doesn't. Okay.
So, in my mind, this is actually
Mods TMR?
it's almost a better accessory to invest in than the defense bracery in terms of aim, because you get the passive 10 accuracy plus the 14, so like it's 24 total.
True.
But like it'll like you can use this in conjunction with like other aim things like in your equipment, you know,
It's also
because
more
14.
HP.
The fact that it's 14 and not 15 or 16 or 17, like it's ensuring that this gets lowered by half to like 7 or whatever, you know. So I actually kind of like that because it allows you to have an even higher accuracy total from whatever else you're using if you happen to be stacking it. So it's like an MR version of the aim ring almost, plus these other things like blind and paralyzed resistance.
So it
It's an
actually
option.
gives 37 more HP, 1 less defense, and then 1 less accuracy, but the passive makes it way higher accuracy overall. So I think I agree with that for sure. And it's more easily farmable and accessible, right? Because it's just in this
Yep.
spammy farm thing. So
Yeah, and like I like anything that makes it more accessible to newer players, or you know, less players that don't spend as much, that kind of thing, or
Yeah,
have the time to do raids and
Sure.
to build their aim rate.
I totally agree. I think
actually
this
like
is a much better accuracy item to go for.
But and the fact that you can make a shield, like you can 15 defense, like accuracy, as well as like that bonus. I'm sorry, 15 defense as well as the passive 10 accuracy. Like you can still put that in like an aim team and have defense as well, you know.
Yeah, and with people being recommended to farm, 90,000 or more medals to clear out the shards in the shop and such, you're gonna have a
You're gonna have
crap
the
ton of this
recipe.
stuff. Like you're gonna be able to make 2 of these probably. If it's anything, I haven't actually done a whole lot of farming on this, like I said, so I don't know what the rates are like, but I imagine they're not bad.
They're pretty terrible.
Oh, are they really?
I found the recipe drop to be like abysmal.
Yeah.
And I think part of it might even be that we're so used to brutal raids recently that we're used to getting that
Maybe.
drop rate, and this is not a brutal farm. This is like
Yeah.
a normal level 50 farm. So
Oh, this
I
is no
think-
brutal version. Okay.
I think I remember like setting it on auto for like 6 hours or something like that, and like when I went back to it, I got like 4 recipes total, and I was like, "What
yeah, something
just
like
happened?"
that. Yeah.
So it's
there
like
you
week
go.
1, Sasuke's katana all over again,
Yep.
or whatever.
Russell get me something.
Rasuga, whatever those 2 farms were. Oh my goodness, really?
That may be exaggerating, but it was like a length of hours, you know.
Yeah.
That's disappointing. Okay, well, it's
Like, I have-
accessible, just not
Yeah.
efficient.
But I mean, like I have like 25,000 medals now, and I'm aiming for like at least 90,000, and I think I have around 20 recipes. So I'm sure I'll have at least 63 recipes by the
Yeah.
time I have like 90,000 medals.
Yeah, I think my goal is to try to get like 5K medals at least a day. Just because I try to just get like the daily stuff, like the daily pots and the daily gill snapper and the
Mhm.
eggs. Like I try not to miss out on those because those really add up over time. But those in themselves, I think it's like 3,400 or 4,400 medals. So yeah, pretty big investment. That's what I'm going to be spending most of my time on.
And then last thing I had down was just mentioning that with Fravia and Dwayne coming back again, with this whole Mind Sphere step up thing, do we think are we making any bold predictions that maybe we get Fravia and Dwayne EX way earlier than we might be expecting? If not Fravia like on release. It's something I've been tossing around. Is like I wonder if they would do that to kind of help promote more of the global side of it, since we generally have an idea, like they'd have to account for the fact we can see JP stuff by now. Like they can't just ignore it. And the fact that they gave us this ticket and then explained the whole EX job thing in a notice today sort of shows that they're aware that, okay, they know, let's just tell them it's coming, be a little more clear for once. But I don't like there's no more surprise for us if they don't do anything different on the X. Like we know exactly the units, we know the schedule and whatever. So like there's got to be a shakeup somewhere besides maybe like another global first or UR Zazan finally coming or something. Oh, I'll shit myself if they put UI's last on anniversary. Oh my god.
Well,
Hopefully
yeah,
it's not
because
limited.
we've seen that from the release of the whole X job update, um, every unit released afterwards
Hmm.
has had X jobs, right?
Yep.
So it's just kind of playing a game of catch up. And the first time I saw it, I was like, whoa, we're seeing a wave every week. That was really surprising. So in terms of playing catch up, like once a week, getting a new X job like wave is amazing in terms of content. Like
Right, right.
we're gonna see them, even if it's only a few at a time. I think that's cool. But in terms of what to expect on the global side of things, I know there is a bit of a gap because we already have the winter units. So we've seen them in JP, like it's like fifth wave and like third and fifth wave for them was in December. Well, I mean, obviously there was like four waves or whatever, but like those waves in particular were the winter units. So for us, barring any like seasonal stuff from like getting like the summer units, for instance, like eventually like a couple months from now or whatever, it's going to be interesting to see how the timeline is going to change for us. Like,
Yeah,
are they just going to be like taken out and like the it's going to be bumped up, so we get like Mediana for like the third wave instead of the fourth wave, and um, what if we don't get the near like collab? You know, yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
how people would flip their shit if you didn't give them near collabs. You know how many people are prepping for
I
that?
could care
Or
less,
like
but yeah, it's pretty
fanboy.
important to people.
And there's a free unit in there too, which I'm sure people are looking forward to. Yeah, I wonder if just because we have this foresight of just and these expectations, it's like there's no surprises. There's no. I mean, it's still fun, but it's not. There's no. Oh my god! Look at
I
who came
said
out.
I said I could care less. I couldn't care less.
Yeah. I know, but
That's
actually, people say I could care less, and yeah, and I don't understand how it goes both. Yeah, it's one of those stupid
It's like,
colloquialisms.
well, why don't you care less than that?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
I thought that's a really good point because we have no idea when Fervia is getting her X because JP doesn't have Fervia. So yeah, she could be coming at like as part of the release. It could make sense because they're releasing like they had the reissue banner now like right before
Right.
anniversary. So
But then that's
yeah,
part of it too. Is like
let's
it
see.
ends, and then the EXs drop. So it's like, what are they gonna do? Another just Fryavia feature? That'd be really strange. So I thought
Yeah,
I definitely had this prediction more before this feature, but it feels weird. Like there's gonna be a little something different with our anniversary. I feel like, and I don't know exactly what it is, and it could just be Fryavia EX, and they wait for Dwayne for the same schedule as JP. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what happens.
but I feel like they like if they don't release like say Fervia's X soon, I feel like they'll miss out because like you can like correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but you can like when anniversary hits, you can if you have a max Fervia, you can put her in the barracks and collect your 2 medals a day, right?
Assuming you keep up with it's one medal every 12 hours in the
Okay.
barracks
For normal
Okay.
URs.
for normal URs, and then if it's double cost, it's one every 24 hours. So I think you can miss time, like if you don't have to have it like straight, it'll just kind
Right.
of like have a tick down, like have this many hours until next shard, and you just keep
Okay.
refilling when you can, and then you'll get it when it get down the clock. But I'm not 100% that's how that works. But if it doesn't work like that, it'd be kind of absurd.
Okay. But like so assuming you do like everything you need to get the 2 shards a day, like if she comes like say 3 months later, like people would have what is it like three times two like 60 shards, no, not 60, 90,
It's
180
60
shards
a month,
already at
yeah, yeah.
first, right?
Hmm.
So like I feel like they would want like especially limited units, they would want to put their X releases like sooner than later because like
To
if
spend
like
more.
say like yeah they want people to spend their money and buy their shards instead of like sticking them in the barracks and like building them up over time.
Yeah. Any other thoughts you guys want to add for this week?
Yeah, there's one other topic that I wanted to bring up, but
Sure.
I didn't want it to be out of sync or whatever. So limited guild battles.
Ah, sure. Yeah.
So it's been a thing. It's like over the course of like 10 days or whatever, right? Like last Wednesday to today.
Hmm.
So, yeah, so there's like 10 of them. Um,
Excuse me.
I guess it's not really too relevant to live PvP, but it's still PvP, even if it's auto. So I guess I was curious how you guys felt, like what your experiences were, if you have anything you weren't expecting to have learned by the end of it that you want to share.
I'm surprised. Well, okay. I'm disappointed that whatever testing they do for these things, if any, they didn't figure out that the scout is absolutely garbage.
Yeah.
Like, why would you ever just attack the fucking team? You scout it for like, or like, and the fact is, like, people at higher levels, which this was only high level guilds, right? Like top 200 or 300 or something, or was this from pulled from all kinds of levels? I'm not totally clear on how these groups were made.
I assume it's like every guild that was eligible
It was
to
above a certain
enter.
point threshold, right?
You had to be like your guild leader had to be active, and you had to be something I can't remember. I can look at
Okay.
it.
Well, anyway, it's not
10 or
every
more
guild, but
members. You had to be logged in within 3 days as a guild leader, and 10 or more guild members.
oh, that's a lot of groups then. Why? What? I feel like there's so few groups. Anyway, what I was gonna say is people scout. People by now generally know the trick where you find someone's friend code, you look up their thing, you look at their guild history, and you can see all their defense teams. And not just seeing their attack teams. So people already can scout that way too, and I wish it didn't exist, but it does. So, um, yeah, between that and just like being able to use that attack as an attack and like, oh, you're still gonna reveal the team. I feel like scouts, it's an awful idea. And then what's the other one? Not cast, but the where you spend two.
You
The
spend two to get
refresh.
I forgot the name of it, but you
Supply.
Is that the one where you give someone another attack?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that
Right.
one's been okay sometimes. We
I
styled on
disagree.
somebody and yeah, it's bad, but we did style on one guild. We got some 9 stars, but
I was gonna get a 9-star today, but we cleared the other guild before.
yeah, we they only got 17 of our stars. It was pretty bad. Yeah, so generally those two are really bad. The cast has been useful. And also my other complaint with this is for tiebreakers. The tiebreakers work in regular guild battle, right? I feel like I've forgotten how regular guild battle works by now.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you can
Excellent.
still interact with your one unused attack when you die on your first attack bothers me. Like, you shouldn't be able to. I understand why, but I feel like you shouldn't be able to do it. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
I actually like that you can use it. Um, Maybe it's not as great for like a higher level guild PvP content, GVG, sorry, but for like casual or free to play players or whatever, like being able to help out your your guild members, your teammates that are like still alive, even if you made a mistake and like wiped and didn't any stars, or whatever. I think it's cool. It does. There is an element of strategy to it, where like, do you save that like attack that gets counted at the end for like the tiebreaker or whatever, or do you help out like somebody who used Bell as their first attack and they can use it second as long as they don't have the range to use an attack instead of buffing, made that mistake with
Blue.
my gunner team.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's interesting. I think it's kind of a cool dynamic. That has a drawback if you use it. It's not just like it's not a like a like it's not like you use this. It's why would you not use this kind of thing.
I think something you said there was something I forgot when I just started going on my little rant here, which is it is nice that say you have a new member, like you want a friend to join your guild or whatever, they started playing the game or they're a little weaker, they can still have the same impact. Because it's almost like the same argument for like why Quicken is such a good tool for lower spenders, is because you can get more use out of your good unit by just your shittier unit giving it another turn. It's kind of the same idea. Like you have this weak team in guild battle, but you can make your like Kraken leader or something like go in again and get another attack if they did well in their first two, or they can cast to give more abilities exactly to get bells or immortal spirit back.
Or like
Um,
even if you're not like even if you're like a higher level like team or whatever, but like your team is like countered for
sure,
offense,
sure, yeah.
you can like give it to like somebody who has the counter to that team or whatever.
Like when I attacked the kill phase yesterday. I saw the magic values and I didn't even look at the team because I just fought another team with almost the identical values. I'm like, oh, it's just the same one, it's the same guild. No, it was a Killfei and not a Sakura, and that did not go well.
Now I haven't
Luckily, it was
had
my second attack.
I haven't had the opportunity to tie for this limited guild battle. Have you guys had like a tiebreaker for like how many attacks were left, or like what determined the tiebreaker for this?
So I actually can't remember if this was for limited or not, but within the past 2 weeks, we had a day where we full tied. We had cleared stars, same number of attacks, and damage didn't matter because it was 100%.
Oh,
And we actually got a real draw.
that's crazy.
It
I don't
was
think that was limited.
no. But then there was another day where we had the same stars, and I sent you the picture. This was a little while ago, pre-limited, so I guess it's not as relevant for this conversation. But where we had one, like, the attacks were not in our favor, but we still won, and we had the same stars. We're like, what the hell happened? And we went to damage percent instead, which is really weird. I hadn't seen that happen yet.
Like, how do we not know how this works by now?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're live players. What's up? Anyway, sorry.
No, I mean like as a community, like
Oh yeah.
it's
I
still
think
like
it might have just
still
been me.
not
I don't
as
know.
transparent as it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Live.
I saw somebody post a screenshot of GVG. Somebody from the Classrooms Guild. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he tied. Like, apparently he had a full tie. So like his score says 7 wins, 1 defeat, and he played 9 games. So the ninth one must have been like a full tie, and that, like, tying seems to give you less points than losing does. So that seems really messed up, because
Actually
he was ranked,
hilarious.
like, his guild was ranked lower than other guilds that have lost like 2 or 3 times. So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's
How
weird.
long ago was that post?
It was today sometime.
It was today. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the classroom is
It's
Howell's
yeah.
guild. So I was wondering if it was Howell's that posted or not.
That kind of just brings up to me like the whole like point system. Like, how does it work?
Yeah.
Why isn't it like a thing that we can like read up on? Like,
Oh,
standard.
this isn't as confusing. This means they lost, or they won worse, right? Like, it doesn't have to do with the ties. It just means that one of the other teams probably won like 80-20 versus like 80-60. You get way more depending on how well or how much you win by. That's why the wins are different values, is because if you crush somebody, you skyrocket in points. It's
Is that how it works?
when we won our 87-17 or 90-17, whatever it was.
Yeah.
We got a shit ton of points.
It almost feels like
Weird,
there's like a certain like point total available between the two guilds, and like how well you do on one side versus the other is how much of a percentage of that, like 5,000 maybe. Like maybe you get like 60% of that and get like 3K versus like, you know, maybe they get whatever 2K or something. But like yesterday we we went up against Rhapsody, I believe. Was it? No, it was somebody else. But like when we went up against Rhapsody in our group, like I think we ended up only getting like 900 points or some shit, like something below 1,000 points. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like the first day that we lost, we got like 1,000 and some. I think it was like 12 or 1,500. I was like, wow, that sucks. Like the other guild that got like 2,600 or something. Yeah, so it would be really nice to know how the scoring works, but that and the matchmaking, I feel like wasn't the most streamlined or efficient, kind of like the class matchmaking was at first. You know, I'm really hoping like the next time we see a limited guild battle, there's I don't know, some improvements made to it.
Would you guys say you enjoy the limited more than regular though?
Against a good guild, I
think
say yes.
It's been cool to have like these brackets, kind of like a tournament kind of bracket setup. It's allowed guilds that don't really have the chance to fight each other, the chance to like match up against each other. That's not always going to be a good thing, because of just like, I mean, the
Sometimes you only
different
get 17 stars. Yeah, like we.
the different leagues are have kind of like leveled out for a reason. Like there's just like how well developed a guild may be. Like your mileage may vary. But I keep getting texts and it's really annoying. Um, it's a nice change of pace, and apparently, like as I think it's kind of more rewarding for like the top guilds to not have to fight like the same guilds over and over again, for like the same 10 guilds or whatever. It's cool for them. I don't know if it's really cool for any of the rest of us, but it's a nice change of pace at least.
I do like the casting, like the just having the cast opportunity has been
Yeah,
cool.
yeah,
I think
I
that's
agree.
really. There's been a lot of discussions like, should I save my attack? Should I cast or should I just like whatever? And I think the leftover attacks is cool. Obviously, the people being dead is weird, but whatever. And then adding the cast on top of all of that for limited has been interesting. What about you, Locke?
I think it's interesting because of the cost limit of 540. So like I said, like like we haven't matched against guilds that we're just stomping, and like that's just no fun because what's the point of that, right?
Yeah.
But against like other teams that like sort of evenly matched, it's more interesting to see what kind of teams people come up with 540 limit. Because like I don't like before I used to find like Runestern, Dwayne, and like Kane on a team. Like that used to be a common team that I would run into. I don't run into that as much anymore because if they do, they have to make a um, like they have to concede somewhere else, right? Like either an Espers or a Vision card or something. So
And for the typical player, that's not a thing that they're used to or have like developed. Like
right.
the whole Esper thing is the biggest one, right? Like people aren't generally going Cactor or Bomb on their units that aren't very specifically built for that.
Right.
So yeah, you start looking at Leonos Castle's the easiest one, but then it's like, all right, well, you still can't do the Dark Bros. You still got to find some other places to concede, and then it's like, oh well, don't know how. Guess I'm playing something else.
So that's been interesting, and it's also like it just gives you like I don't see as many of the same teams I'm fighting anymore. So like I like it from that perspective,
I think
and like the casting is pretty cool too.
I think I have like two closing thoughts on this.
Okay.
And one, I can't wait for another map. I think it was really shitty. They gave us the fortress map, which obviously has the missile attack up and the accuracy. I think that really rewards the spenders versus the non-spenders, that have more missile attack units to really just stomp people that maybe don't have as much. Two, I'm really looking forward to the next rule set. So in the details for the March 2021 limited go battle, there was a screenshot that was like all MR team or lower, for like a possible thing. 'Cause it showed like the 530 or less, and then like the second selection was like MRs or lower. I'm like, that's my jam. That's our jam. We should like, I'm looking forward to that. But at the same time, obviously, like that's probably going to reward people that have
People
been
are
investing
gonna
in.
get bent over. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna have my
so
whole guild just like, all right, guys, I'm gonna go in. Just keep giving me attacks. Just
as long as
feed
you can
me.
survive, just keep getting the full life refreshes for. But that's kind of a whole nother topic too, is like who should get the supply or cast, depending on the sustainability of the team composition and stuff. Do you have a healer and a tank or
Whatever does
whatever,
well, right?
or if do
Changes.
you have any healing at all? But I think the worst part about this, besides the matchmaking and how much I didn't really enjoy that, um, the map. I think I'm looking forward to another map, that doesn't just like
Would have been
having.
nice to have something we haven't had before.
Yeah. Well, that and like any of the other maps, honestly, like the ones that don't reward, like a full gunner team that can just like stay back at range and just like stomp on people that like need to like come at them. Like so
It's a
often I've seen.
majority of maps, though, isn't it? Though, like,
Well,
it's hard to not have a map where gunners aren't like. You'd have to have nothing in the middle of you and spawn right across. Like, there has to be no
uh,
obstacles, no whatever to like
but
be
the
able to
missile
run at
attack,
them.
up is
Okay, yeah, that's
relevant.
fair. Right.
So that's what's really.
I'm saying
Uh,
structurally.
yeah, like the fortress in particular, like yeah, it could be better, but there's a lot of height variations. I kind of like that, but the fact that it's the missile tech up and the accuracy up, like I don't really mind the accuracy up, but like because I think evade is pretty cancerous still, but Yeah, so looking forward, having another map that's going to be cool, having more options. I'm kind of curious to see if they do kind of similar things to class match, where it's like, like no CT changes, no, healing down, blah blah blah. See how people like it. So overall, I think it's a cool dynamic, and hopefully it'll see some improvements.
Hey, Lock, any last thoughts?
Um, no, that's about it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with this. Like what kind of rule sets they put in, and also if they're gonna do like different variations of it. Like, is it always gonna be 540? Is it gonna be something like 220 limit? So like, there's no way you can have like the triple dark guys, the dark team. Uh,
Men in Black.
yeah, Men in Black, exactly. So yeah, I'm curious. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like. Like when the game started, I like, especially my guild, we were very involved with the guild wars, and we would spend like a lot of time like strategizing and everything. But as time went on, we kind of like didn't do it as much. But like just having like something different made us more interested in it again. Like we're not to the level that we used to be, but like people at least talk about it more. So I think it's a step in the right direction, like adding content like this, and yeah, just looking forward to seeing what comes out of it, how they plan stuff in the future for it.
It'd be cool if they did like a larger cost, like say 1,000 or 1,050, and you have to spend that between both of your offense and defense teams. So you could
Mhm.
you could do like the Dark Bros on offense or defense, but then the other one would have to take a lot of concessions to get your cost down between the two. And you could still use a total of like 540 and 540 is 1080. So you could put that in there and people can make the regular 540 teams, or like I said, stack one and detriment the other. I think that could lead to some interesting quicken teams or innovations and like that
Yeah.
side of things. It'd be kind of cool. Yeah, I think that wraps us up for this week. This has been Let's Talk Tactics. I was Zach Bro,
Yeah, thanks for listening. I'm Dan Boone.
And I'm Luck. Take
and
care.
we will see you next time.